Yo, 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 what is going on, everybody? Gabriel Santos here. And today we're going to talk about the honest truth about how we have to earn better habits, but it's ultimately worth it. All right, so real quick, if you're watching this video, it's meant for people who, have certain goals or have certain habits they've wanted to create for a long time, but just haven't been able to sustain them, right? Maybe they go a week, 2 weeks, maybe even a month, but lo and behold, things just always kind of go back and drift back to what it was, right? And so this video is for you, and we're gonna dive into a couple key points here, as you can see on the board, to really hammer home a couple of points that really changed the game for me, and hopefully can really change the game for you. All right, so let's get right into it. Take notes. I encourage you to take notes for yourself as needed. Okay, so let's start again. The honest truth: we earn better habits, but it's ultimately worth it. Earn is the key word here, right? Because to the first point, creating habits, as simple as it may be, right? Do this thing every day for a month, for 2 months, for 3 months. The reality is that it's really effing hard and it's doable. But let's start with the first part of this. It's hard. It's hard. I'm going to dive into, and we all know it's hard, but I really want to hammer home the sheer amount of effort it requires. And you know this, right? But I want to remind us all that it's every day for 30 days and beyond, right? Because I don't know about you guys, but in my head, right, you hear the word habit thrown around, and yes, kind of the nature of a habit is that it's kind of ingrained, it's kind of mindless, you do it without trying, and we all have those habits already. But the goal is to make these habits, to make new habits, healthier habits, just better habits, optimized habits, the thing that's natural for us. However, in order for it to become natural and to feel like a habit that's automated, you actually have to really ingrain that action and behavior over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Okay, and the front end of that process requires a lot of effort. And what I mean by that is not necessarily the physical effort, which is also true, but it's the emotional effort, it's the mental effort to really stay on top of things, day in and day out. And you guys know how hard it is. It is so easy to feel motivated and to have a couple days rolling, and then by day 4 or 5, all of a sudden, the behavior is starting to slip off, and then by week 2 it's completely gone, right? And so there is a level of sustained focus, just sheer focus, sheer desire, sheer want to, sheer priority, that's required. And it's like, when you're really dedicated, you have no exit plans, and it's like full steam ahead, everything about you, it's like you won't be denied. And it doesn't have to be that level of intensity, but it has to have that level of accountability to a standard. It truly does. And whether you have self accountability, right, with yourself, and you have that skill and you have that relationship with yourself, or you have accountability with other people, or some combination of both, with yourself and accountability with other people. Okay. In addition, it's this willingness to overcome all obstacles, and obstacles don't have to be this grand thing where I need to I need to earn $1,000 so I can join this membership, right? It's obstacles as in like, oh man, I'm so used to staying up till 2 a.m. and doing whatever the hell I want. But my goal is to get better sleep, which means going to sleep at 12 a.m. And it's like, right? The obstacle in this case is like, but I want to, but I don't want to, but I do, but I don't, but I do, but I don't, right? And it's those types of little decisions, those types of tug of wars that you're having every single day towards the goal, right? And there's going to be excuses, there's going to be reasons, there's going to be old habits that are literally the opposite of what you intend to create, right? It's like, okay, I want to create a habit of walking every day, but I already have this ingrained habit of saying, you know what, it's fine, let me just chill out, I've had a long day and I'll do it tomorrow, right? And so it's like, This is what we're up against, right? But it's doable. It is 1,000% doable. You know it's doable to create a healthy habit or just create a new desired habit. It's possible, but it's fucking hard. It's hard, and I want all of us to just be face to face with that truth of, oh no, it is hard. Just because of the sheer amount of dedication that's required. Okay, so that's the first part, and this last thing for the first section: track key metrics. Right, there's a saying that goes, what gets tracked, what gets tracked gets changed, or what gets tracked gets improved, or whatever. Point is we can get lost in the sauce, but tracking your key metrics goes hand in hand with accountability. And let's say you want to, walk every day for 30 days. Well, then every day you have a box that says go on a walk, and you check it off. And you face whatever demons you have to get there. You handle whatever logistics and planning are required to get there. You say no to whatever it is you need to say no to so that you make sure you get there, right? And those are the obstacles that I'm talking about. And that's having no exit plan. That's having full follow through, full accountability, tracking your metrics, showing up every day, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7. And that's just the nature of it. And I know that you know that, but I think we get out of touch with just the sheer, just what it looks like to hike this mountain, right? You get to the top of the mountain, metaphorically speaking, by walking through every step, whether you're hurting or not, and you commit to getting to the top, right? So what a lot of us end up doing is we end up hiking halfway up and then quitting without even realizing it. And then we're like, man, how come I can never get to the top? Well, it's like, the focus didn't maintain. And it's hard, right? Because we have lives. We have this thing going on, that thing going on. We have a bunch of other habits. We have other responsibilities. And creating a new habit might as well be like taking on a part-time job, right? Depending on the magnitude of the habit you're installing. But it requires that level of focus and mental battery and emotional battery and spiritual battery, right? Depending on what it is, okay? So that's the first section. Let's now move on to the second piece of this, which is in addition to it being hard, although doable, we're also battling our nervous system and our identity. And this also ties back to it's hard, right? What do I mean by nervous system? So NS here, nervous system. In this regard, I mean the pleasure pain chasing, right? And so let me just go down the list. Pleasure, pain chasing, cheap dopamine, gratification, short-term and delayed gratification. Okay, so what I mean by nervous system is there's a part of us, right? It's part of how we were evolved as humans. It's just part of how our brain and our nervous system works, is that we are chasing pain and avoiding, we are chasing pleasure and we're avoiding pain. And how this all ties into habits is that for the most part, for example, let's say we want to go to sleep at 12 a.m. instead of 2 a.m. There's pleasure associated with, I'm going to stay up late. I'm going to do whatever. I don't have to have a schedule. I can just There's almost like this tempting pleasure nature to that, right? Whereas going to sleep earlier, it's discipline. It's having to deny pleasure. It's having to see the longer picture, right? Delayed gratification. And then in addition to that, right, I think that's pretty clear, right? Pleasure, pain, cheap dopamine. That's why that's why if we're on a diet, it's like, okay, I know I should probably just have chicken, vegetables, and some rice. But then you're driving down the street and the burger joint is calling your name. Oh, by the way, you've gotten burgers at the end of every workday for 2 years straight, right? But it's like, oh no, but I want to be healthy, right? So this is what you're battling up against. It's fucking hard. It's hard. You're battling against all your shit, right? Not only that, this human, how just your brain works. You literally have to kind of hack your brain a little bit sometimes when you're creating habits, right? And so then secondarily, you're battling your nervous system and you're battling your identity. Okay, so not sure how much understanding of identity you have currently, but let's kind of simplify it. Okay, I mean, let's go back to the sleep example, right? On the surface, it could be like, you know what, okay, what I mean by identity is your emotional home, which we'll talk about, maybe some traumas, right? Could be deep or basic traumas, and then it's your beliefs slash stories, and ultimately who I am or who we identify ourselves as, right? And so, for example, right, if you're someone who has tried to make changes but ultimately hasn't followed through and created them, and you've done this over and over and over for, let's say you got 30 attempts under your belt to try and lose 20 pounds and it just hasn't happened, right? The belief slash story you'll likely gain is something like, man, no matter how hard I try, I can't do it. Maybe it's just not for me. Working out is really confusing. Nothing I try works. Even if I try my hardest, I never get there. And all kinds of beliefs. And it gets to a point where these stories and beliefs are trained into our brain, are trained into our nervous system now. And you can see how they get linked. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. And so it gets to a point where you feel in your body that it's not possible. Or you can feel in your body, which is in this case a fancy, simple way of saying nervous system. You can feel it in your nervous system that it's like, oh no, like I deep down don't think I can do this. And it's not because you actually believe that per se, but we have these subconscious stories based on how things have gone for us and the way that we perceive and the stories that we created based on what happened to us, right? And so that's kind of getting a little wordy, okay? But let's again go back to an example. Let's just go like an even deeper one, right? Let's say I would assume for most of us here on this channel, what we want is to live a great life, have great habits, have great results, and also to just feel grounded, feel whole, have a sense of emotional fulfillment, emotional satiation, and just mostly just feel grounded and whole while having great results and just great experiences in our lives, right? Right. So yes, of course I want that. I want the great life. I want to be awesome. I want to feel grounded, right? That's the identity that we want. But for many of us, right, we have an identity or just a sense of self that's based on, I feel anxious. Again, no matter how hard I try, I can't do it. It's like, okay, I try to do it, but deep down I don't feel like I'm like worthy of it. And like, oh my God, I want great things, but I don't know how to get them. And I'm like kind of scared to have them because what if I lose it? So it can get very deep and nuanced to the point where our own old identity, which is deeply ingrained in our nervous system, doesn't align with, or doesn't, not only doesn't align, but doesn't support having certain habits. Because it's just not possible, right? But, meaning, let's say someone just doesn't believe they're capable of taking a walk 7 days in a row. Unless they have crazy accountability, usually leaning on someone else, it's just not going to happen. Straight up, it could, right? But the only way it would be possible is if they were willing to push back against a lot of these things. Your own nervous system, your own beliefs that you can't even do it, right? And so all of this to say, right, this is not to freak you out. This is to hopefully just expose maybe some blind spots or some certain things and aspects about what it takes to create better habits, like for reals. Okay, so to review, it's hard and it's doable. Straight up. It's like a part-time job. It requires that level of priority, that level of intentionality, that's why people have like daily counters, daily trackers. You got to have accountability. You got to be willing to overcome all obstacles, and you got to be willing to track your results with that accountability. Okay. And then second part is just to be aware of the fact that we're also battling our nervous system, and we're pushing up against old identities with the idea of creating new identities. Okay, so bonus piece here. As you are pursuing the actions and crossing them off every day, it's important to also consciously create this new identity for ourselves, because what often happens is we're going to the gym every day, we're on top of the diet every day, we're making the right choices every day, yet we're secretly not aligning our sense of identity with how we're showing up, right? So it's like, oh my God, I'm showing up every day, but I still have this low-key identity of I hope I make it, right? Instead of, and what's funny is when that identity is running, that I hope I make it identity, what it will look like is like, yeah, I know, well, we'll see how we'll get there, or yeah, I know, well, I hope I keep this up, right? And it's hard. It's hard to embrace a sense of confidence when you have a history of self-sabotage, right? Uh, Part of overcoming that hump is willing to take accountability for the fact that in the past we're the ones that chose to stop, right, and quit and not follow through. That was on us, and it's not because we weren't capable, but for whatever reason, right? And just to take ownership, and that it doesn't have to be the story of I just can't do it. It can be the story of, you know what, I could have done it, but I didn't maintain course. I didn't realize how hard it was. And, I didn't have the right systems in place. Fair enough, right? Fair enough. And so, point being, as you're checking off boxes, as you're taking consistent action, it's important to also, as a part of that process, instill new beliefs, new identities, new perceptions about ourselves, about our abilities, about our new standard, our new floor, as well as our new ceiling, in terms of potential. And so, yeah, hopefully, this connected some dots for you. If you're someone who is looking for one-on-one coaching and support, I'm offering a limited time, one free session to one person. Instagram me at gabe_santos or email me. I'll leave links in the description below. Just one person. These sessions usually cost at least $100. We deep dive into everything, and my promise to you is that in an hour or less, we will hyper target what it is that the habit you want to create, an action plan for you, and one free additional session of accountability if you decide to take it on. All right, so just one person, and if that slot is already taken by the time you see this video, message me instead. I'll let you know, and we'll go from there. Right, so that's it. Hopefully this video served you guys well. It's a pleasure and honor as always. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.